Good morning to all. Today we will discuss about data preparation and analysis. First, let us see what is meant by data preparation. So, once data is collected, the process of analysis begins. But data has to be translated in an appropriate format. So, this process is known as data preparation. Now, let us see the various preparation. The steps involved in data preparation are validate data, questionnaire checking, edit the acceptable questionnaires, code the questionnaires, key punch the data, clean the data set, statistically adjust the data, store the data set for analysis, and analyze the data. So we'll see once again the various steps involved in data preparation are validate the data, questionnaire checking, edit the acceptable questions, code the questionnaire, key punch the data, clean the data set, statistically adjust the data, store the data set for analysis, and analyze the data. First, let us see what is meant by validation. So, validation exists when the data actually measures what they are supposed to measure, and if they fail to, they are misleading and it should not be accepted. So, one of the most serious concerns is errors in survey data. And secondary data are involved, they may be ancient or unimportant. So, with primary data also, this kind of review is important. Now we'll discuss about questionnaire checking. A questionnaire is written from the field may be unacceptable for several reasons. Parts of the questionnaire may be incomplete, inadequate answers, no responses to specific questions. And the pattern of responses may indicate that the respondent did not understand or follow the instructions. The responses show little variance. So one or more pages are missing. So the questionnaire is answered by someone who does not qualify for participation. Fictitious interviews are being done. Inconsistencies are there. Illegible responses. Then yes or yeah or nah saying patterns. There is yes or no saying patterns. Middle of the road patterns. All this will be there. The next one is editing. The next phase of data preparation involves editing of raw data. That is, we are going to edit the raw data. There are three basic approaches here. Go back to the respondents for clarification, infer from other responses, discard the responses altogether. Now let us see a diagram. How are we going to treat the unsatisfactory responses? First of all, treatment of unsatisfactory responses is classified into three, namely, that is return to the field. First one is return to the field, then assigning missing values, then discard the unsatisfactory respondents. This assigning missing values is further classified into three, that is substitute a neutral value, then case-wise deletion, pair-wise deletion. These are the three classifications under assigning missing values. Now let us see satisfactory results. So first of all, we have to returning to the field. The questionnaires with unsatisfactory responses may be returned to the field where the interviewers recontact the respondents. Then we have to assign the missing values. Assigning missing values means if returning the questionnaires to the field is not feasible, the editor may assign missing values to unsatisfactory responses. Then the next one is discarding unsatisfactory responses. So in this approach, the respondents with unsatisfactory responses are simply discarded. Now let us see what is meant by coding. In case of data entry, it refers to the creation of a computer file that holds the raw data that is taken from all the questionnaires which are deemed suitable for analysis. Coding means assigning a code. That is, we are going to assign a code, usually a number, in order to each possible response to each question. So the code will include all indication of the column position and data record it will occupy. So the fixed field codes, if you see, which mean that the number of records for each respondent is the same, and the same data appear in the same column for all the respondents are highly desirable. If possible, the standard code should be used for missing data, and the coding of structured questions is relatively simple since the response options are predetermined. If in case of questions that permit a large number of responses, each possible response option should be assigned a separate column. So the guidelines for coding unstructured questions are: the category code should be mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive, and only a few of the responses should fall into the other category. The category code should be assigned for critical issues even if no one has mentioned them. The data should be coded to retain as much detail as possible. So the main principles for establishing the categories for coding are: there should be convenient number of, then There should be similar responses within the categories. The differences of responses between the categories should be mentioned. Mutually exclusive categories, exhaustive categories, avoid open-ended class intervals, class interval of the same width, midpoints of the class interval. These are the principles for coding. Thank you.